Hello. Oh my goodness. Today I am interviewing the amazing Ashlie Megrichian. She is an artist from Miami and she's currently traveling the whole United States and living that freedom lifestyle and just overall being a badass. And let me invite her to join. Let me see. Where is she? There we go. So, Ashley's going to be joining us today for a really fun interview, and we're going to be talking about how she started her own business. Hello, Ashley. How are
Yay!
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I'm so excited.
I know, me too.
Get together.
So,
There we go.
where are you right now?
I am in Chaplin, Connecticut.
Oh,
Chaplin, Connecticut, and
fun.
it is 32 degrees. So a
I
little
was just
different.
about to say, I was gonna say, like, hello. Are you freezing? Like, could we not have done this trip to like a few months
I wanted,
earlier?
oh my gosh, I wanted the cold so bad. And then when I wake up, it's like 22 degrees. And I'm like, okay, I wanted this. So
Yeah.
I love it though. It's gorgeous. Absolutely
Well,
gorgeous.
on the plus side, you avoided a big category 1 hurricane while you were gone because you live in Miami normally. So Ashley's from Miami and she is a very talented artist. And she made the decision about a month ago, right? Like to go
About
to,
two
did
months.
you buy a camper and like, or tell me the story, like how did this trip all evolve? Because this is
Okay.
so fun.
So forever I've been trying to leave Florida, like for 20 years. And things just kept keeping me there and keeping me there. And I just never made it out. And in the
Mhm.
past 5 years, it's been really like sitting heavy, like on my heart. Like I need to leave. Um, I was going through life and doing my thing, and we'll kind of touch on some of that stuff. But I had someone come back into my life that I've known for 20 years. And
Ooh.
he is absolutely amazing. And one day we were just hanging out as friends, and he's like, "Can I take you on a proper date?" And I'm like, "But okay."
Yeah,
So
I get
that kind of,
chills.
yeah, so that kind of all just exploded and was beautiful. He actually already had the camper, which was like a huge
Oh,
plus.
cool.
Yeah. So unfortunately, my mom has some health issues. She was in a very bad car accident 23 years ago, and she's always lived on her own. And she lives up in Massachusetts, and she had to go into a facility. And I was
Oh,
having a very hard time with that. So
yeah.
I said, I had gone back and forth a couple of times. And I got home the last time, and Michael's like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Well, if I wasn't with you, I'd leave. Like, I would have left you." And right then and there,
Yeah.
he goes, "Let's leave." And because of the position that I'm now in life, I was like, yeah, let's go. And literally, Cassie, I tell you, it was not even 3 weeks from saying, let's go, to wheels up and gone. Like, we sold everything. We outfit. I had said to him, I go, listen, I said, if we're going to live in this camper, it's going to like be comfortable. So
Yeah.
I did my retail therapy and like bought all new beds and new bedding, and
Yeah.
I made it cozy, and I said, all right, let's go. And
Mhm.
because, like I said, because of where life is in this whole, everything happens in this timely manner, I would not
Mhm.
have been ready the 5 years ago. I wouldn't have been ready
Right.
2 years ago, a year ago. So when
Yeah.
he said that, I knew I could just go, yeah, let's go.
Let's make it happen. I
Make it
know.
happen. So yeah, so
Mhm.
3 weeks, and we took our time. We left October 22nd, took our
Ooh.
time. We'll be in New England for until April, and then we'll figure out where we want to go after that.
Oh
So
my God, so awesome. Yeah, so just as the weather starts to get nice, then you're going to be leaving.
I know we came for the worst part. For some, the worst part. For us, we want like, you know, we want snowmen and skiing. So I
Yeah,
guess we're
yeah.
good.
Totally. Well,
Mhm.
it reminds me of when I decided like I was ready to leave Atlanta back in it was actually 10 years ago right now. I had put all my stuff in storage actually in November 10 years ago, actually October of 10 years ago.
Think about
And
October.
then put all my stuff in storage and decided I'm going to San Diego. I don't
Mhm.
care. Like when it happens, it's happening. And but that decision activates so much. And then taking the action to line everything up, like
Mhm.
it really does. Because then by January, I got laid off and I was out of Atlanta and into San Diego in 2 weeks.
Oh my
People were
God.
like, "What? You're leaving this soon?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm out of here. Like,
Yeah.
bye."
Yeah. You don't get to say, I have people go, wait a second. Like they'll see something I post or like, where are you? I'm like, don't feel, I didn't say goodbye to anybody. Like I
Yeah,
literally just, yeah, the
it's kind of
floodgates
easier
open.
that way. Well, like the way I felt, I was like, well, yeah, I hang out with you guys a lot, but like you guys all have a lot more going on. Like if me leaving here breaks the bank on your whole life, then we got more work to do here. So, you got to take care of yourself. But the bonus is like, thank goodness your mother's up there because what if she was in Miami? Then it might have like probably, made you second guess things, but this seems like the best of both worlds.
Everything just felt like I, yes, yes.
Yeah. So, are you gonna go out to like? So I gotta tell you, when I was in high school, so my mom, both of my parents are teachers, and my mom applied to do this like teaching grant where like my dad was a high school U.S. history and government teacher, like social studies, everything. Like we on their this is my stepdad on their honeymoon. They flew us up to Virginia during the second week of their honeymoon, and we had to go tour battlefields. I was like 8 years old, touring
Oh
battlefields
my,
in the back seat of the car with my Babysitters Club books, going like, "Are you
oh
kidding me? Like
my
another sign? We got to stop for the sign again? Like, ugh." Like, don't you know this stuff already? But then in high school, a few years later, my younger brother was one, and my other younger brother was three, and my
Mhm.
mom won this grant to go to like 10 national parks across the U.S.
Oh my,
and in 4 weeks, and we did that. And then 2 years later, they took us back to like the favorite ones.
yeah,
So you've got to, if you
God,
ever need like suggestions or like
I
the
will.
top priorities, I am so happy to hook you up with that because
Yeah.
like Glacier National Park in
Mhm.
Montana, like make the
That,
reservations
okay.
now.
All right. So that's one of the things on our list. So when we leave in April, that's our plan, is to kind of
Yeah.
migrate that direction because I have family in Washington State too. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to, yeah, I will definitely send you a message.
Yeah. They book up pretty quick. So try to make a reservation because you can get in on that. That would be amazing. And like Yosemite was like a party. I was in high school and I was like, this place is so cool. This is like one of those videos on MTV, like in real life. I'm like, yay, I'm in California. I mean,
So
granted, it was like the
to let
coolest
you,
national park. Yeah.
you want me to let you know when we get there so you can, we sleep late so you can bring the whole family.
There I go. Oh my God. It's my husband's dream to do what you're doing. I told him what you're doing. He was like, oh, that's what I'm doing. As soon as the kids are out of the house, like he wants a VW van. He's like, I'm going across the country in my van.
Yeah.
Like, see, I have fun. I'll meet you out there.
I'll fly to wherever you're at. Spend the night and go back.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. I want to bring up though. So I made the title of this like manifesting your dream business because the story you told me the other day was so amazing of like where you started and where you built it up to. Like that, talk about like really stepping into your power and like that was a huge leap. So
Huge.
are you able while you're on the road to continue doing your art first of all and like all the sculptures and things?
Yes. So what I've been doing, I actually took this little bit of time to not do anything and just
Yeah,
enjoy.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So once we got into this little town and we got set up, as we're driving around, I'm finding little places that are for rent for like $300 a month because
Oh,
where we're at, there's nothing here, Cassie. There's like
yeah.
two stoplights. Like there's nothing out here. So,
Yeah.
but in the heart of New England, an hour and a half, I'm in Massachusetts. Like I can, an hour,
Yeah.
like 20 minutes to an hour, I'm in a major city, right?
Yeah.
But right where we're at, there's places that are open and for rent that you can do shared space with, or even
Cool.
they call it like the self-storage places, like just getting
Mm-hmm.
a day for like a couple of months. So I definitely, one of my biggest transitions is I'm used to waking up, and if I want to work at 2 o'clock in the morning, I walk out to the garage and I work at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well,
Yeah.
if I out to any sort of garage now, I am going to freeze my butt off. So there was this little bit of transition of going, okay, how do I make this work? But the
Yeah.
other thing is that one of the options that I have for clients is I fly, I travel. So if they are,
Mm.
if that connection is so strong to work together,
Yeah.
they fly me to where they're at. I stay there for a little bit, and then I get the piece to a point where I can transport it, and then I mail it back to them
Yeah.
once it's, once it's safe to mail back. So yeah,
Right.
that has been a little bit of a challenge of trying to figure out how to make it work. But I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to happen. It's going to
Yeah.
work, and figure it out, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And that's what yeah. So yes, I can.
I love it. So tell everybody what you do, because this episode, this is going to go on podcast. We're also going to be able to find it. Like, people could be watching the replay on YouTube, and we can put all the links and things for how people can get in touch with you. And but tell everybody what you do, like what kind of business you have, and like kind of the evolution of it, like where you were when I met you and then where you are today. I mean, this is amazing. Like not even, I know, like from a monetary financial standpoint, you made a huge leap, but like it's a huge leap to figure out a way to make this, like, create even more freedom for yourself, because a lot of people wouldn't even let themselves go there. Like, they wouldn't even let themselves think of, they'd be tied down to the fact that, well, I don't have a studio and I don't have my garage, therefore I can't do this, and like I I love what you've done, like, on so many different levels. So explain it all away.
All right. So all right. So my entire life, I have felt such a pull to help people. Like, I've tried, I know you were in pharmaceuticals. I was
Mm-hmm.
in the private yachting sector, for 25
Yeah.
years, so I worked in this space where it was very corporate. I had
Mm-hmm.
multiple jobs. I started off doing like insulation and engine rooms for yachts during refit, and then went all the way through to working at schools and for the Marshall Islands. But all these things, I always had the side hustle of helping somebody. Like, there
Yeah.
was always this side hustle of life coach, nutrition, whatever it was to help people live their full potential
Mm-hmm.
was. And it wasn't until I was actually I one of my positions, and at first I was like, oh my goodness, everything's going to fall apart. You have that first initial
Mm-hmm.
feel, what am I going to do?
Right.
And then I just started leaning on the things that I love, which was helping people, but I was giving myself away. I was
Mm-hmm.
working with kids that were transitioning from high school into college, and I'm like, yeah, I'll work, I can't charge you. I want you to be great, So
Yeah. Yeah.
constantly giving myself away. But I've been an artist at heart and in life, my entire life. I was raised by artists.
Yeah.
So my hands were always dirty. I was always in something, playing with something, painting, drawing, sculpting, and I loved to draw. Well, as I got older, my eyes started to go, and I started to get very frustrated that I couldn't draw. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to become a doula. I'm going to help deliver babies. Like, how am that going to be? So I started doing that. And then I realized, because I give so much of myself, I was exhausted. I was
Mm-hmm.
so tired. And one of the things I was doing for my moms was I was doing like the belly casting. You remember, like, that was like really
Yeah.
big, the casting of the belly. So I was like gifting these castings. I'm like, okay, this is really
Is
cool.
that like where you turn it into a bowl? Like,
Yes.
because like my sister-in-law in South Africa, like,
Mm-hmm.
her best friend made one for her. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how it all started. I was doing bowls, you know,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, this is fun. I love it. And I'm like, okay, I cannot do the doula anymore because I was so tired. I was hallucinating. It was, I gave too much of myself, and I'm like, okay, I got to
Mm-hmm.
bring that in. So I stopped doing that. And then I was going through a very difficult time, just like personally with myself, and
Mm-hmm.
I had material, and I started to put it on my body. And I'm like, okay. So as I was putting it on my body, I was having this very, you know, when you have babies, our bodies change, right? And okay, my breasts aren't as perky, my belly's a little poochy, my hips are
Yeah.
wider. You know,
Mine are like down around my waistline most of the time. Like,
yeah.
up here.
Yeah. And you sit there and you go, okay, you know, my breasts aren't perfect, but they nurtured my son for almost 2 years. You know, my belly carried my baby, like all these things. And as I was doing, and my hands were on myself, I was healing and I was finding power within myself. And I took off the first layer of what I was doing and I was looking at it and I just started to cry, like bawl. And I'm like, I am beautiful. Like this, I'm still beautiful no matter what anybody says, no matter what, how people, I'm gorgeous.
Yeah.
So my pieces, they're not poured. They're not silicone and then poured. They're not molded. Everything is layered and sanded. So as I took this first layer off and I'm layering and sanding all this plaster and the material, I'm circling my breasts and giving thanks. I'm circling my stomach and giving thanks, my hips, everywhere, and putting all the energy back into the piece, right? And all I could think about were the feelings that I had. And so when that piece was done and I hung it, oh my, it's crazy. So when I hung it on the wall and I'm sitting there on the edge of my bed, my son comes in and he was in high school at the time and he sits down next to me and he goes, Mom, that's beautiful. And I was like, thanks. Like I still wasn't like fully there, right? And I'm like, he goes, you gotta share this. And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, yeah, okay, kind of thing. And I sat with it for a while and I would wake up in the morning and I felt so powerful. Every morning that I woke up, I'm like, that's me. Like I am fucking beautiful, you know? And I'm like, if that is the way I feel, I need to figure this out. So I called my girlfriend and I said, I need a favor from you. And she's like, yeah, sure. What? I'm like, I need you to get naked for me. She's like, sure. Like, where's this going to go? Like, what's going to happen? So I just want you to, I said, I want to try something and just be honest with me. And sure. So I went over there with all my stuff and I started doing, she's like, all right, this is kind of cool. This is nice. It's very therapeutic. There's touch there. There's, you know, that intimacy. We were talking, we were laughing. And as I took off that first layer, she's like, that's not me. I'm like, that's you. You're gorgeous. That is you. He's like, and it's the same like emotions that I was feeling. And then I took it back, worked on it. And when I brought it back,
I get chills.
I brought it back and it was the same thing. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't see myself this way. So I started giving away more. Like I'm more validation, right? You know, I need more. And the response was always the same. And I'm like, okay, there is something here. And in the middle of this, I was working with a phenomenal energy healer friend of mine. In her Serene Soul is the name of her company in Del Rey. And I'm sitting with her and I would ask her questions. And she's like, you know what you need to do. You know, you're asking me questions, but you know it, right?
What kind of questions were you asking her?
What am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sell these? Is this my career?
What am I supposed to do with my life? Like I feel stuck or I feel this. But then on the flip side, I would tell her, oh my gosh, I'm doing these amazing pieces and these women are feeling. And she's like,
yeah.
Oh, are you listening to yourself? You know? And I'm like, Carolina, I'm like, she goes, the healing is within your hands. Like, you know, there was a bunch of stuff going on. She's like, and then I spoke to more healers and more people and the message kept coming back. And I'm like, okay, you know, that whole thing, I think you might've even said it, like you're going through life and sometimes you get hit with a feather, you know, and then you get hit with, and then you like the whole building drops on top of your head.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's all right here. You just have to embrace it. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this, right? So I sat with my son again and I said, okay, I really want to do this. But I don't know what to call it. He goes, well, what do you want people to feel? I said, I just want them to feel raw emotion, you know, just to feel everything. And he looks at me, he goes, bear. And I said, fair because balanced and raw emotions. And I'm like, thank you.
Oh
So
my God. That's amazing.
and I was like, living fair, living with balanced and raw emotions. That encompasses everything that I want to do and that I believe. And throughout this chain of years, because this is now years gone through,
Yeah.
I've been trained in a bunch of different modalities with, Reiki and NLP and hypnotherapy and all this stuff. And I'm grasping at, what do I do to help? And I'm like, oh, just put them together. Freaking put them together, So when I first met you, I was, I think, charging $300 a piece after giving away probably like 20 pieces.
We all do it.
So I was like, okay, $300 a piece. That sounds great. And people were looking at me like I'm crazy. They're like, you've got to up your worth.
Yeah.
So this is where my journey with you came in, is that I'm seriously gonna like cry. Okay, so okay. when I found you and I sat in your class and did like the shadow work, with you, and had the conversations and had the support of all the other women and like listening to them and just watching things like unfold, that was really my first step to going, okay, I know what I'm worth. How do I get comfortable with knowing what I am worth? Why can I not say these are now X? Why? So going through the course and then popping in to all of your other stuff, it was a lot of solidifying, because I write all the time. I try to find it, but I ran out of time. I was like, I was going to pull out the manual and say, look, I still have it with me. Like I travel with my Zero Fucks Highway. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I do, because it's stuck, Cassie. All of it stuck. And I just needed to get over myself. Like I was in your live yesterday, and that was one of the things I said, I need to get out of my own way. I needed to get out of my own head. And I spent about a good 2 years of just hammering myself. And I know that sounds bad, but I don't mean it in a bad way. But every time something came up, I literally would stop and be like, okay, if I was driving, I'd pull over. I'm like, I can sit for 5 minutes. And I would sit. I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? What does it look like? What is happening? And I would address it. I didn't run. I didn't get scared of it. I addressed it. And then I kind of smiled and picked myself up and went on my way. And, Michael, my partner, actually said to me one day, he goes, you don't talk money anymore. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, do your thing. Don't talk money. And I'm like, okay, all right. I won't talk money. He goes, your pieces now sell for $10,000. Like, okay, that feels good. Oh my God, that feels good.
I love it.
He goes, now tell me, what are they getting for this, for the $10,000? I'm like, they're getting me. He goes, and what do you put into all? I'm like, all of me. He goes, all right, now talk this through. So to have like someone there to like listen to everything I say. So in that moment, everything was clean slate. And I made it so that when you now book with me, you get me for a solid month. You have, because what happens is when I go and I do a piece, like I'll talk to you for a little bit. I kind of get, a feel of the things that you like, why you're commissioning a piece from me, what brought you to me, kind of really get to know you. Because what we do is very intimate. My hands are all over you. And so when I get to your home, things come up. People naturally talk. They talk about the things that are happening. And for some reason, when you have that human touch, it comes out even more, right? So I might touch in a place that triggers a traumatic event or triggers something that's loving, you know,
Yeah.
and you go through that. And there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of laughter, sometimes it's pure silence, it's
Mhm.
whatever it is. But when my hands are on you, and if I touch your ribs and something happened and you kind of move, we talk about it. You
Yeah.
know, so now we go through what you're going through my healing, transferring the energy, putting healing energy back into your body as my hands are on you. And all the intention is just full energy work. We play music that you like, we light candles and or do incense of things that bring you peace and joy. So we go through this whole process and we talk. I'm with you for about 3 hours for that first visit, sometimes longer if you know if it needs to be. And then I take the piece home with me, and when I work on it, i I actually tested this organically. I cannot think of anything but you. Like, there is nothing else going through my mind when I'm working on your piece. I remember how your body feels. I remember what happened
Wow.
when I to a certain place. I cannot shut it off. I cannot not put that
You're
energy.
so connected, like
Oh,
just connected right there.
so connected. The same music plays, the same candle, the exact same candle is lit, the same incense is burned.
Mm.
It is just everything, all the healing pours back into this piece. So when I deliver it back to you, it is 1,000% you. There is none of me in there. It's all you. And so now when you look at this piece, you have an entire journey from when we first met and
Yeah.
whatever came up to healing. So when you look at this gorgeous piece on the wall, that is you, not a piece that you bought from a gallery for $50,000. You know,
Right.
it's you. You have every connection to that piece, and you now pull so much strength going, I'm fucking amazing.
Oh
Look
my
at,
God. If you went to Hollywood, you could charge like 100 grand for all these and heal so many of those people.
yes. And that is what it has turned into. And when
Mhm.
as soon as I made that switch, the floodgates opened,
Wow.
completely
That's
opened.
so incredible.
And people are like, I would have paid 10 times more than this. You know, I would,
Yeah,
and I'm like, but like right now,
I know. Yeah. Well, and especially like that sounds so much more enjoyable than weekly therapy sessions where the person's like, now tell me a little more about your feelings and like not getting anything accomplished. Like, holy crap. It just sounds amazing. I had no idea. I had no idea that all of this went into your like sculptures and this work and this healing and everything. Like, have you been keeping up with people afterwards to find
oh,
out like what their progress is? Can you speak to that a little bit too? Like
for
what the
sure.
long-term results have been?
They all turn into friends,
Oh,
you know, and repeat clients.
yeah.
So yeah, which is really nice. Like I've done a piece for somebody and then she's like, listen, I would love to do just a piece for my entranceway. Like it doesn't, I don't want to, you know, they they get the value of the healing and the therapy and all that, but then it turns into the art. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, wait a second. You know, it's like I want to do a piece for this and a piece for here. But they've all turned into friends. They've all gone through these amazing transformations, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's something they had to heal from childhood or if
Mm-hmm.
it's that's going on in their life now. I work with cancer patients.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and that is very like very special to me. I actually had one woman, she had breast cancer, and her girlfriends all got together and did a session for her. And we did Reiki for her first, and we did like a beautiful circle and some chants and some just gorgeous energy work. And she goes, "Can you make my breast the same size?" And I said, "We're here to honor you and how strong you are going through this now."
Mm-hmm.
And she just stopped and she's like, okay. And I did her piece. And when I gave it to her, I said to her, I go, listen, this is for your healing. You can do whatever you like with this.
Mm-hmm.
to smash it, you need to paint it, you need to leave it in the back of the closet, whatever it is that you need to do, just please do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to see how gorgeous you are and how strong you are. Well, she doing great, and she had a double mastectomy, but she has this piece hanging, and she looks at it every day and goes, that's what gave me the strength. All of my girls
Wow.
around, everything, just, that's her strength.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Well, and for people who are joining, Ashlie is telling us about her sculptures, her art that she does, this custom artwork that she does, and infuses energy healing into it to help heal not just emotions, but like, traumas and things that people have gone through her artwork. It's incredible. Like, I can't. So you keep going. I noticed there were some new people who joined, so I want to tell you
Yeah.
what we're talking about because it's pretty freaking incredible.
Yeah, I that's once I figured out, okay, because like you said before, it's so much better than just sitting in a therapy session. Like I tried that. I tried to do the Zoom
Mm-hmm.
thing. I they don't get the best of me. Like that is not. I can do it. I offer it, but quite
Mm-hmm.
often, if I can be in that same space with you, and
Yeah.
then I bring that piece home to work on it. Like I said, and I only do one at a time. Like you're it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are it. My energy is not going to anybody else. That is all going right back into the piece and everything you need. So for that time period that I'm working on it, we will text, we will talk, I will give updates if you need to. I am yours basically for month. And then when I deliver the piece, we'll have one more session together at the end and talk about like how you feel and what healing energy you feel and where
Mm-hmm.
you're now. And we can kind of go from there. Like I've had clients that stay on that just for that,
Yeah.
for the therapy. But initially that is just, gosh, I wake up every day so thankful that I finally got out of my way. Like I
Yeah.
finally, all the manifesting, because what I would do, Cassie, I would lay in bed at night going, I know what my life is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I can taste it. I can smell it. I can see it all.
Mm-hmm.
And once I said yes to
Yeah.
me, literally the dam opened and it was just like, okay, the universe was like, all right, we've been kind of waiting for you to be ready for us.
Yeah.
Now that
Yeah.
you said yes, here, hop in the camper, go, here's this, here's that. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. So like at what point in that journey do you think was the moment where you said yes to you? Like out of all the things that you went through, what was like the tipping point?
Oh gosh. Okay, so the very first thing that comes to mind is I was with a gentleman for a few years who suffered from Parkinson's. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and he believed in me,
Mm-hmm.
he and then unfortunately he ended up passing away.
I'm so sorry.
When
Yeah.
he passed away, just something just like like just like this coil, like I can associate it to like, if you take a really tight spring and you tight,
Yeah.
tight, 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 like all that tension, and then
Mm-hmm.
when you let it go, it goes,
Yeah.
and it makes that is what I felt. And when that happened, I was
Like a release.
total. I
Yeah.
was like, what am I? That's it. Done. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is it. And that was the exact moment. I always knew that it was there. Like I always knew, oh, one day, one day. And then as soon as I got that news, I was like, that's it, done. No, no, there is no more one day. Like no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very powerful. And what I love about your story too is that like you didn't go just for like the logical and what makes sense. It was literally like I'm feeling the pull to do this. This is really unconventional. This is not normally what people do. And instead of being like, oh, are people going to think I'm weird for this? Or, oh, is this just a little too out there for people to actually want to invest? Like, shouldn't I go for just like, here's your sculpture and that's it? You know what I mean? Like there's so much. People always talk about like the love that goes into artwork that's that you see everywhere, but like to really have healing in it and to be coming from like yours really actually does have the love like baked into it literally.
Yeah.
And like the healing from the other person too. It's just incredible to hear this whole story.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, because like you don't hear a lot of people that, I mean, you on several different layers have really bet on yourself, instead of allowing the outside world to tell you what's possible,
Right.
know.
And I did do that for a while. I was scared to death. Oh my gosh, judgment. Oh, what is and quite honestly, for a little bit, like doing this live with you, like I sent it to you. I'm like, this is way out of my comfort zone. But now,
yeah.
Okay, I can do this.
Yeah, totally. It's so good. Well, I do think like Instagram lives and Facebook lives tend to intimidate everyone. I remember like not that long ago, like I used to do Facebook lives like all the time on Facebook and especially in the group, but there's something like a shield when you're in the group, you're like, well, I can control who's gonna see this, right? Like last week my mom hopped on one of mine, like, and I was like, okay, hey mom. Hey, what's up, mom? But like, Instagram live for some reason like really did intimidate me. I had to force myself to start doing them again because I don't know why it was different in my head, but we build things up in our head so much that then make us stop our action. And when really it's like not a huge deal at all. Like the whole point is connecting with people and sharing the message and, like really getting yourself out there, because your words today could have healed so many people or been like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. And I think that that's a big part of, like the intention around, serving online and serving and giving, like all the coaching and things and doing live streams. It's to really show people that like, you're not weird for being nervous and you're not weird for wanting more. And it's not like impossible because Lord knows, like I forgot to put deodorant on yesterday. Like I'm not perfect either, right?
Someone said to me, oh, well, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on with Cassie, and super excited. They're like, well, you're like really like glowing about this. I said, one of the things that I've always loved and admired about you is that everything is real. Like like I'm so safe with you. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they're like, well, what do you do? And I said, she'll be in the middle of something and like one of her little ones will run in. She's a mom. That is, it's like things are just real and on point, which actually brings me back to like one other thing when I said it.
Thank you, by the way.
Very welcome. Thank you. One of the other things that brought me to having Living Bear is that when I was going through the very early stages of it, I was realizing that men too, I've had a lot of men reach out to me, but women is where it came from, is that we live with these labels. We are entrepreneur, we're wife, we're mom, we're girlfriend, we're like all these things. But at the end of the day, I'm Ashlie, like all these great things, but I'm Ashlie. And I think that's a lot of like where we lose ourselves. So
totally.
When I take this layer off of these women, they're like, there's no way that's me. And I'm like, yeah, that's like, drop all the labels, drop everything. That's who you are. And I've done men too, and they say the same thing. They're like, oh, I got some abs in there. I'm like, you're not a dad bod, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's remembering, it's really all the therapy, everything like encompassed back to who we are at the core, and all clients, if you when you lay down at night and you close your eyes and you are by yourself in the dead of the night, what do you wish you could scream to people so they knew who you were? Like, what is that thing that you have stuck so far down that
Yeah.
is who you are? And then let's
Yeah.
work to bring that back to the surface, kind of thing. So yeah, it's living with balance and raw emotions, like
Yeah.
literally
Love it.
all of
Well, and being comfortable, like saying that, my husband and I get into fights sometimes, not fights like, but like, he's like, oh, anger is just useless. And I'm like, no, it's actually, but he came from, he's a South African, so he grew up in a totally different culture. And when you go there, you can see where people like stuff down their emotions, or, like maybe it's, if you have an outburst as a child, you might be like, no, you can't do that. But like, so when my kids scream, not every time, because sometimes I'm like, okay, that's enough. Like I've heard it, and no, like go tell on each other somewhere else, or I can tell when you're fake crying. I can tell I know that I've been your mom for almost 7 years. Like I know, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
when it's like legit emotions, and like just go to your room and scream it out if you need to. Like there was a moment when we were in Africa in June where they had been like around family all the time, and my husband's family's lovely, like they're but like your kids are like, I don't want to get in trouble with grandma and grandpa, right? Like they might drop an F-bomb, they might say like whatever, like I don't know, like what happened. So like, not that they don't have a potty mouth as much as I do, but like we got in the car at one point and I was like, kids, you guys have been like really, really well behaved, so well. And I see you and I notice this. This is amazing. Like you're doing so great. Just whatever you need to get out right now, just get it all out. Just yell it here in the car. Because it was like one meeting with family to the next, to the next, to the next. So they never really got any me time or downtime. Like here, it's the opposite, because all they have is downtime. Like we don't have like a huge network here, and I'm more of like a quality over quantity person, but it's like the opposite. When you go there, you're like around a lot of people, right? Because we're there for a short amount of time, relatively, and then whatever, so like I do notice that like your work is so needed for people to get comfortable living with these raw emotions and not feeling weird and not stuffing it down. Because when we stuff it down, like not only does it delay your creativity and inspiration and downloads and disconnect you from who you are, but like, you just end up being like freaking out at some point, like I didn't want the freak out point with my kids to be like at the dinner being like, what the fuck is this? I'm tired of having fucking pizza. You know what I mean? Like I maybe need to get it out. Like just talk like, why the hell is my fucking cousin acting like an asshole? Like whatever, you know what I mean?
It's going to come out like at some point. So either you get comfortable with letting it out, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. And so, I mean, before like the spaghetti is thrown literally at the wall, we need to like just help them. Like you could just feel it bubbling under them. And part of them, they were just so tired from traveling, but then just sort of like everything was new, and it was a lot more stimulation and newness than they're used to. So I was like, okay, life coach mom's going to take care of this one.
That's the thing that we have to remember. Like our kids, like they've only been on this earth for like this wee bit of time, right?
Yeah.
I'm coming on to 50 years on this earth, and if I can't, keep my cool time, then how am I going to expect a little one to keep?
Yeah. I say that exact thing to Ian. I'm like, Ian, you're expecting them to do something that you as a 40-year-old man clearly hasn't mastered either. I know I've thrown my phone across the room in frustration after I've been on, what is it, like customer service calls for way too long, especially, don't even get me started with American Airlines. But like, it's just been big. But you're gonna love the new opening to the Topless Manifestor podcast, because I'm recording a new like start to it, and it's all about remembering like who the fuck you are. Like seriously, like that. I literally decided 2 days ago, actually, like I don't know if it was it must have been like on the weekend. I was like, that's what it's all about. Like, and I'll read it out to you. Listen, because you'll appreciate this. Because I was just kind of like, nah, you know what I mean, about things. not, wait, where the hell did it go? Hold on. Hold, please.
Holding. What's the music? Do, 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 do.
Yeah, right? Where did it go? But yeah, wait, I can't find it now. Where did it go? Oh yeah, no, here it is. Yeah, I want each episode to be like a mini pep talk that moves you to action, taking action, moving to the next level, and remembering how powerful you all are already from the moment you push play. Like, that's the vibe of the whole thing. Like, that's not what it's going to be saying, but that's going to be the vibe of it, which is exactly what this conversation is about. Like, stripping yourself down to remember, who are you? Like, who are you? And like, from that point, you don't worry about what you're going to charge. You don't worry about what people are going to say. Like, you're not worried about it, about like any of that. Like, it's just like meaningless shit, like confetti on the ground that you walk over, you know?
No kidding. It's so for sure. And that was very difficult for a lot of people. What's someone going to think? What's my family going to think? What are my kids going to think? You know, we want to impress. But the truth of the matter is when we go back to the core of who we are, we're impressing freaking everybody. Because
exactly.
Yeah. Makes us shine so much different, you know, just getting back to who we are and shed. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. So powerful. Okay. Well, this has been so much fun. I can't believe we've been on for 45 minutes and it went by like this. I can't even believe it. This is so good. Okay. Tell everybody where they can find you on your page and, you know, like if they want to inquire about a session, you know, like a discovery session or whatever you would do, or if this sounds like something they'd be interested too. So go ahead and share all the info.
So my Instagram is living bear, BARE .ash, ASH. My website, liveandlovebear.com. And then on Facebook, which is just Ashlie Megrichian, and that's a long one to spell, but we'll go ahead and put it there. But any of those places, DM me, message me. My phone number is on my website, honestly, and just, you know, I am always available and I would love to do discovery sessions. I love making sure that we're a right fit. And since I'm going to be traveling, if you want to book in advance, we can do that. And I'll be in until April. So yeah, if anybody's in New England, let me know.
Awesome. Well, go ahead and make sure you send me a message with all of those links. And then when I publish this and then on the YouTube, so it'll be right there too. So, but thank you so much, Ashlie. This has been so fun and so amazing. Let's see if I can do a yay screenshot. Oh, good. I did it. It was good. And yeah, guys, get in touch with Ashlie. This is guys and girls. Get in touch with Ashlie. Although you're probably hearing a lot of you guys right now up there in New England. In Tom Brady land. We have him back now. Okay. So have a beautiful rest of the day. And thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
My heart. Thank you so much, Cassie.
Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.